What's going on? Naviel, Seven Sales, back at it with another one. And I just want to talk about I was a lazy producer. I always felt like my music was just so good that it was just gonna blow. You know, I just knew it was that good. I didn't really need to apply too much because I just felt like I was so unique and so gifted that my music was just going to boom. I felt entitled. I post whenever I want to. I felt like I could do whatever I want to without necessary real thought, and that made me shoot blind. I was just putting music out, put a cover art out, post a picture. I didn't post myself. I didn't want to be in front of the camera. I didn't really care for that. I was just being lazy. Now, do everybody need to be in front of the camera? No. You have to find a way to communicate to the people that's listening to your music. You have to. There's no other way around it. Now, I also felt like my music could just speak for itself. But like my music did all the talking, which it do a lot of talking, but there's a story around my music, and I had to find creative ways to share that story. So I was being lazy. I just felt like it was not intentionally being lazy, but it was lazy. It was counterproductive to put out music and don't find creative ways to spread it. And when you're an independent artist, you have to be independent. Like, you don't have a label that's going to market for you. You don't have nobody, a creative director. You don't have a social media coach and all this. You don't have it. You got to do all that by yourself. If you really want to do this, you can't be a lazy producer. You have to find other ways to be personable. Another thing, entitlement. I just felt like, I go to the record store and I get my vinyls from the record store, then I bring it to the house and then I chop it up, and then they gonna wanna mess with me because of this, or I know that I spent 10 hours on this and I stayed up, and I know they gonna rock with this because I also felt like I felt entitled just because I put some type of work in. And with being consistent and working, you have to be okay with things not working. So you can learn from what works and don't work and refine it and make it better. If I spent 10 hours on a video, I think it's the dopest video, and it don't get the necessary reach, and I get upset because I feel like this is the best video. I put the best thought into it. It doesn't really matter. If it's not reaching, something is not adding up. It could be the way that you might have typed it. It may be the way that you edited it. It may, and these are things to help you to refine. You gotta shoot the ball. You gotta throw it up. You gotta get your dribble right. You know what I'm saying? You gotta figure out the distance. You gotta get in the gym. But to be entitled is hindering. I was entitled. I was a lazy producer. I just felt like whatever I did had to blow because I just think I'm the dopest. And don't get it wrong, I am the dopest, and you should feel like you're the dopest. But there's always room to grow. And why think you know everything when you can learn new things? It just don't make sense. You'll just be in this loop of just doing the same thing because you think you know everything. Expand, learn, look at data, adapt, maneuver, take breaks, come back at it. I was a lazy producer. And last but not least, I didn't have a vision. I just knew I wanted to make music and make a lot of money because that's the dream. Of course I love music, but I want to make money. Being real, who wouldn't want to make money and live off music if you really love music? But I didn't have no vision. I didn't know what I stood for. I knew what I loved. I had principles and I had morals, of course. I had an idea, but I didn't have a vision on where I really see myself. Do I see myself as the producer that want to produce for big time artists? Do I see myself creating a community? Do I see myself teaching? Do I see myself speaking, motivating? I had to have a vision. Once you have a clear, defined vision of where you see yourself, you could be like, okay, I see myself doing this. how can I get here, and how many ideas I can come up with till I get to there. And once I start thinking about every idea that went a part of my vision, I was able to have a clearer view and a better foundation, and to feel like I know where I'm going. I have this vision. I see myself being this. I'm working on this actively. I'm coming up with many ideas. I'm not feeling entitled. I'm working. I'm not feeling like I'm too talented where I can do stuff just because I want to when I want to. Because in real life, if you don't do what you want to do for yourself, the world will choose that for you. So you gotta lock in and really be inside of your brain and pray and be in your brain and know the vision that you have is going to happen. And you gotta actively pursue that and educate yourself on it every single day. I was a lazy producer. This is my journey. Hopefully this helps somebody out. Comment, like, subscribe, join the Discord. We got the Patreon going. Join the Discord. Discord is a lot of cool people in there. Cop the Start Dates tea, But yeah, if you like what's going on, let me know how you think. Comment, like, subscribe, join the Discord, talk about it. Let's have a conversation. I was a lazy producer.